You have invested a shiny, pretty penny into the spring annual plantings. Now make them be their best even when that summer sun starts to beat down on them. One of the top questions heard by master gardeners is what flowers will last in the heat? Brian Lloyd has come to make our yards look great and our plaza looks fantastic. Great to see you, sir.
It's great to see you, Brooke.
So it's quite the claim to say that spring annuals will last all season.
They will, though. I think there's kind of a rumor out there, and it's a myth, that the hot Utah sun is what destroys plants and makes them wilt and pass away over the summer.
Okay.
And that's simply not true. It's not the varieties and the hot sun that kills things necessarily. What it really is just the way we take care of things. So there are a lot of spring things like petunias, verbenas, dahlias, geraniums.
How pretty.
All these things that we planted back in May will thrive all summer long as long as we have just a few tips to keep them thriving.
Okay, give us those tips because it's funny, this came on us fast. It was wet for so long, it was cold for so long, but the July heat is creeping up. So take us through what we can do to keep those flowers keeping up.
Yes, once we get into the 80s and 90s like we are this weekend, the number one thing we can do for our flowers is mulch. Okay. This is just adding compost or something else on top of the soil, 1 or 2 inches. You can do it after your flowers are already planted. So if you haven't mulched yet, now's the time. You can add them at any time. Just kind of work it under the canopy of the foliage, but get some mulch in there, and it does 2 great things for us, amongst many others, but it does 2 great things. Number 1, it suppresses weeds, so it makes it a lot easier on the weeding. And number 2, it holds moisture, and that's what we need. We need water when we're fighting against the heat, not necessarily different varieties.
So the soil is just going to suck it all up, but the mulch is going to keep that moisture lingering around a little bit longer. How often, Brian, should we mulch?
Just once for the season is great, but once a year we should mulch as a top dressing on top of our soil.
Okay, what's next?
The second thing is fertilizing, and this can be easy. If you just get a Miracle Growth fertilizer feeder, and they come in these packets in the boxes, you dump 1 packet in the bottle, and it'll mix at the right ratio. Just follow the instructions, but when flowers bloom over the summer, it takes a lot of energy to do that blooming, and they need to replace those nutrients to create that energy, and they do that with fertilizer. So make sure you're following a good fertilizer schedule in flower beds, maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. Make sure you get it on there a few times over the summer, and you'll be good to go.
Even throughout the heat stretch?
Yes, in fact, more so in the heat stretch. Because they'll continue blooming, and they need to replace those nutrients.
All right, okay, what else?
And then the third thing is just make sure you deadhead. There are a lot of varieties that don't need it, but there are a lot that do, especially geraniums. Everybody knows geraniums. Deadheading's easy, right?
I giggle at the phrase deadhead every time. I don't know why.
So you've got to put a tie-dye shirt on.
I'm like a 3-year-old.
You've got to get your beads, and then you've got to follow the Grateful Dead all around the country.
Thank you.
You do that, and you'll have gorgeous flowers.
And then you pull out the prunes.
So no, deadheading is just taking rid of the spent blooms, and the reason why is once a bloom fades, the flower wants to go to seed, and that signals to the flower that it's at the end of its life and it'll stop blooming. So by deadheading, we tell it you're not at the end of your life.
You have life to live.
And you take as close to the base of the stem as you can get it. You cut it off, even if there's a few good blooms on there.
That's generous. That makes me nervous.
So this one is gone. It's not going to keep blooming. I accidentally cut one off that was just about to open, so you don't want to do that.
This one didn't need the deadhead encouragement we talked about. Okay.
So go through deadhead. You can do it with dahlias as well. If you can't get to the bottom of the stem, not a big deal, but get that flower head off.
But you aren't shy. You're getting down there. You're going deep. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about some heat-thriving plants. I know you said variety isn't everything, but it's something, right?
Right. So all those varieties are spring blooming varieties, and they'll bloom all summer long. But there are plants that have been bred, or they come from places where they just thrive in the heat. And that's what we want to go over.
Topping your list and point us to what we're talking about. Celosia?
Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen celosia. It comes in yellows, reds, and orange.
This looks fake. It's so cool.
It's really a soft flower, which is cool.
Yeah.
But these love the heat. They're also, everything that's heat-loving here is also water-wise. So if you miss a watering, not a big deal. It's not going to kill it.
I feel like to get this level of texture with this vibrant of color is kind of a rare combination. That's super cool.
And celosia comes in red leaf varieties as well.
Angelonia?
Angelonia is just kind of an underutilized annual in Utah, I think,
Look.
as our butterfly graces our
friends
display.
coming to play. Okay.
But Angelonia is called the summer snapdragon, so it's got that long stalk like a snapdragon.
Yeah.
Kind of the bloom kind of looks like a snapdragon face, a little face of a dragon on there. But these come in deeper purples and reds. I just love the colors of Angelonia.
She's dramatic. She's a moody girl.
She is.
Brian's already accepted that I assign the pronoun of female to all of the plants that he brings on our plaza, including the flowering vinca.
Yes, vinca is my #1 basic annual. Now, basic annuals are annuals that came from seed. Usually when I put flowers in my bedding plants, I use premium annuals. These are things that were started with cuttings, which means they mound or trail and they get big.
Okay.
Vinca doesn't get too huge, but it puts off so much color all summer long. It's a great replacement for petunias. It looks like impatiens, but in the full sun. So if you have a sunny spot and you want color all summer long, vinca is the way to go.
That color is stunning. That purple is one of my favorites right now. All right, Shasta Daisy made your list of heat-resistant plants too.
So this is actually a perennial. This is one that will bloom all summer long, but it thrives in the heat. The one thing you do need to do with this is deadhead it to get it keep blooming all summer long.
And we know how to do that thanks to you. Zinnia, a good one to reach for too?
So I brought a couple different types of zinnias. This one up here is a shorter variety and a single flower. These are called profusion types sometimes. For a bedding plant bed, these are great. If you want more of a focal point or a spotlight in the garden, up in front, I have taller Magellan types. These are double flowers. They get taller and bigger, more like 18 inches tall, but they come in a whole range of colors from pinks and yellows to oranges and reds.
All right, next we've got the coleus.
Yeah, coleus is a great option for the shade. It doesn't bloom all summer long, but the foliage is stunning enough. You don't need blooms on it.
And remind us about full sun, partial sun.
So full sun is 6 hours or more.
6 or more, okay.
And then partial sun or shade, it goes either way.
Whatever.
It's like around 4 hours.
This one does
and then
good in
less
that.
than 3 or 2 hours is full shade.
Okay.
Okay, this does great in full shade or maybe partial sun in the morning. But if you have a shady front porch or something like that, it's always great to grace it with coleus.
I love that you brought sunflowers.
Yes, sunflowers are all over the display.
Beautiful.
We've got some bright flowers here. There's new breeding in sunflowers. These aren't the wild ones that grow on the side of the road. These are bred for huge blooms. They're meant to stay shorter, even though these are like 3 feet tall in these planters. You can put them in beds, you can keep them in planters on your patio, but they just scream out happiness, don't they?
Yeah, they do. My sisters and I were just talking with my sister. My mom, went to the flower store and gave us sunflower pins. I was in 3rd grade, my sister was in 1st, and we joked that was our favorite outfit. So we walked around with just a happy little badge on our denim vest. Anyway.
When one fell off the plant as we were picking up to come up here today, I gave it to my employee to pin it behind his ear.
Yeah, okay,
he didn't do
I love it. Well, he didn't take the bait. What's this?
This is cool. This is unique.
This
is
looks
new.
like Dr. Seuss.
This is Australian. So this is native to the plains of Australia, so it thrives in our heat.
Okay.
It's called Pilotus, P-T-I-L-O-T-U-S.
Oh, wow.
But the P is silent. It's related to our celosia that we started with.
Okay.
But this one's feel that flower compared to the celosia. What do you describe it as?
Wow, I mean, it's pokey.
Yeah, pokey. And it looks pokey, and it is pokey.
It's cool.
But it's just cool. The habit of the plant is not great, but the flowers overcome that. And you can put this as an accent plant. You can put it in planters as a thriller. Whatever you do, it's going to love the summer heat, and it's drought tolerant. And
that will be the garden talker of the season. The nickname Pink Mulla Mulla?
Yeah, pink
right?
Mulla Mulla.
I read that. Yeah, fun to say, fun to look at, fun to incorporate into your garden or your porch pots this year. And knowing these will be heat resistant, if we take those steps, we can feel good about that. Is there a cutoff date for like annuals?
Not at all. You can totally plant all the way until Halloween.
Okay.
Enjoy annuals as pansies, things like that.
And what's
all summer long.
What's coming out of Olson's greenhouse right now?
We're getting ready with all these summer crops. We're shipping into stores right now. So go to your local Home Depot or Walmart and support us there.
All right, Brian, thank you
Thanks,
so much.